So let me ask you something. Have you ever really truly stopped to wonder what your mind is? I mean, what is it actually? Well, today we're going to dive into a pretty incredible ancient text called the Diamond Samādhi Sutra that asks that exact question. And believe me, it's not just some dry collection of teachings. It's more like a deep, profound journey into consciousness and really the fabric of reality itself. And what's so cool about this ancient text, which you can see here from the Chinese Tripitaka, is that it's not a lecture at all. It's set up as a dynamic dialogue, a back and forth of questions and answers that pulls us right into the heart of Buddhist philosophy, step by step. You see, the entire sutra, everything we're about to talk about, really circles back to this one fundamental question. And it's a question aimed not just at some historical figure, but directly at you. So yeah, let's jump in and see where this whole investigation leads. Okay, so our journey starts in a scene that's just filled with this incredible sense of focus and power. The whole thing kicks off from this one single moment. The Buddha just enters this state of profound meditation. They call it the Diamond Samādhi. Think of it as a state of mind that's totally unshakable, like a diamond. And it's so powerful, so still, that it makes his disciples go, "Whoa, what is that?" and start asking some really, really important questions. And this is where we get to the heart of the matter, the main problem the sutra is trying to solve. It's not some abstract philosophical puzzle. It's actually a deeply compassionate question about all of us, about our lives. So, one of the bodhisattvas, that's someone who's dedicated to helping everyone find enlightenment, basically asks a question for all of us. They say, look, for people in the future living in a really confusing and difficult time, the text calls it an age of 5 turbidities, which is basically 5 kinds of spiritual gunk or pollution. How on earth can they find liberation? And the Buddha's answer, it's pretty radical. It's not what you'd expect. He doesn't lay out a bunch of complicated rituals or give them a new set of rules to follow. Nope. He just turns the whole question inward. He starts talking about this core idea, the empty mind. Now, this is super important. It doesn't mean your mind is just a blank void, like an empty box. Not at all. It means that its fundamental nature isn't a solid, fixed thing. It's more like space. It has no concrete origin, no fixed form, and it's just inherently still and peaceful at its core. And when you really get that, it leads to this huge realization. If the mind itself is fundamentally empty and still, then all that stuff that churns inside us, the anger, the anxiety, even those moments of joy, they're kind of like illusions. Or maybe like clouds passing through the sky. They appear, we feel them, boy, do we feel them, but they don't have any solid, lasting substance. Okay, so if you thought that was a big idea, get ready because the sutra then zooms out. This concept doesn't just apply to our minds. It applies to, well, everything. And then, just to push things even further, another bodhisattva asks this absolutely brilliant, kind of mind-bending question. They ask, okay, if everything is fundamentally non-arising, if it doesn't really come into being, then how can we attain the understanding of non-arising, right? I mean, if you attain something, that means it's a new thing that's just appeared, which contradicts the whole idea. It's a total paradox, a real head-scratcher. But the Buddha's answer here is a total game changer. He basically says, you're thinking about it all wrong. Non-arising isn't some prize you win or a goal you reach. It's the fundamental truth of how reality already works, and you just have to recognize it. Things don't just pop into existence out of nowhere and then disappear. They're more like reflections in a mirror. They appear because of conditions, but they aren't solid things on their own. Trying to attain non-arising is like a reflection in a mirror trying to become more of a reflection. It's missing the point. It already is what it is. So what we have here is this huge shift in perspective. On one hand, you have our normal, everyday view. My thoughts start and stop. The world is full of separate things, being born and dying. But the sutra's view, it's that the mind itself was never really born in the first place, and that everything we see and experience is more like an illusion. It's there, but it's empty of any solid, separate self. Okay, and this brings us to what might be the most powerful, the most hopeful message in this entire text, and it's told through this really beautiful and unforgettable story. So the sutra tells this story. Imagine a little boy gets lost, separated from his family. But here's the thing, he's carrying a priceless piece of pure gold, but he has no idea it's there. So for 50 years, he lives in poverty, begging for food, totally oblivious to the incredible treasure he's had with him all along. Then, Finally, his father finds him. And here is the absolute key moment. The father shows him the gold and says, listen, this isn't something new you just got. This gold is your original property. It has always been yours. You haven't gained anything new at all. You've just finally realized what you had the whole time. And that gold coin, of course, is a metaphor. It stands for what the text calls original enlightenment. It's this incredible idea that your pure, awakened nature isn't something you have to go out and find, or build, or earn. It's your birthright. It's your original property. It's already inside you, right now, just waiting for you to recognize. So, we've talked about the empty mind, non-arising, original enlightenment. How do all these big ideas fit together? Well, the sutra has one last beautiful metaphor to tie it all up. See, the text gets that there are a lot of different teachings and paths out there, right? Lots of different words for things. But it says to think of them all like different rivers, all flowing toward the very same single ocean of truth. The sutra puts it beautifully. It says the water in the Jung River and the Hay River might have different names while they're separate, right? But once they all pour into the great ocean, it's all just ocean water. There's only one taste. And in the exact same way, all these different philosophical concepts, they all ultimately merge into the one single taste of truth. And so that leaves us with this one last, really powerful question to think about. If this sutra is right, if enlightenment isn't about gaining something new or becoming some better version of yourself, but it's just about realizing what you've never lost, what you've always been, then what changes for you right now in this very moment?